All right, continuing then with direct examination of Tactical Specialist Heideman. I'll remind the witness you are still under oath for your testimony. I'll just briefly inquire with the court's exclusionary ruling, did you watch any other testimony over the weekend of anyone else that's testified in trial? Okay, thank you for following that instruction. Ms. Blake, if you'd like to continue on direct, you may.
Thank you. And Ms. Heideman, just for the benefit of the jury, we were talking about the James and Elena story. Do you recall that? And who was James an alias for? And who was Elena an alias for? As part of your investigation, we talked about that you pulled portions of what appeared to be part of that story and pieced it back together. Is that correct? Did you also find some additional text messages that you documented somewhere else? And with those text messages, did you pull them over as written? And did that include pulling over the date stamp and the corresponding information? And Your Honor, I do not have this marked as an exhibit. I've showed it to defense counsel previously. I was going to show Ms. Heideman portions of what I would purport to be part of her report to allow her to look at them.
Okay.
And if we want counsel to look first, that's fine as well.
Yeah, let's have the defense review that, and this would be to refresh the witness's recollection. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, in part. If I may have the witness shown those. Ms. Heideman, do you recognize those 2 pages?
Yes, I do.
Do those in fact appear to be a portion of a report written by you?
Yes, they are.
And Your Honor, these portions, well, actually, I will clarify, were these pulled from either the Lolly Time or the Lori for Style at iCloud?
I believe these are from the Lolly Time.
And Your Honor, we have previously stipulated to admit the contents of the Lolly Time iCloud account. And based on that, my intent was to simply have Ms. Heideman read a few excerpts from these messages.
Any objection to proceeding in that manner, Mr. Pryor?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, the witness may do so.
And Ms. Heideman, looking at the first page there, that bottom text, can you indicate the date and time on that text?
August 9th, 2019 at 9:29:47 p.m. UTC -6.
And who was the message sent from?
It's actually from a 515 number attributed to Chad.
And who was it going to?
Lori.
And can you read just the last 2 sentences starting with "he kissed"?
He kissed her deeply as their breathing slowed. They entwined their bodies and held each other tightly before soon beginning another powerful round of pleasurable bonding.
And then if you turn to that next page, can you indicate the date and time that first message was sent?
And it's on August 9th, 2019 at 9:36:03 p.m. in UTC -6 time.
And can you tell who it is being sent from and who it is being sent to?
This one is from Lori to Chad.
And could you read it into the record, including the emojis, please?
That is pretty incredible. Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. The fire is definitely burning. The memories. Heart, heart, heart. I miss you way too much. You have to stop or I might explode.
And then can you indicate the date and time on the next message?
August 9th, 2019 at 9:38:27 p.m. UTC -6.
And who did the message appear to be sent from and to whom was it going?
Again, from Lori to Chad.
And could you read the content into the record?
The intensity of each encounter in my mind, one greater than the last. Oh my, fire emoji, fire emoji. Especially this last one. I've never loved you more. Heart. It just keeps growing. Kiss emoji.
And then that next one, if you could indicate the date and time.
August 9th, 2019 at 9:39:54 p.m. in UTC -6 time.
And who did it appear to be being sent from and to whom was it going?
From Chad to Lori.
And could you please read it into the record?
I completely agree. We were definitely in new territory in your bedroom.
And then the following message?
This one's
Date,
on.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. On August 10th, 2019 at 4:38:08 PM in UTC -6 time
And who did it appear to be going from and who was it being sent to?
from Chad to Lori.
Can you read it into the record?
Elena's magic hand has gripped the storm, and they stare into each other's eyes, barely able to breathe as intense waves wash over them.
And through the investigation, did you learn what storm was a name for?
It appeared to be a name for Chad's penis.
And then the next message there, can you indicate the date and time?
August 10th, 2019, 4:38:45 PM in UTC -6 time
And who was it being sent from and to whom?
from Lori to Chad.
And could you read it into the record?
Yes, she did.
And did those appear to be a continual text thread?
They did. They were chronological. It looks like there was probably a half a day or so difference.
And then if you skip down to line 1033,
Okay.
if you could read the date and time into the record.
33. August 10th, 2019, 4:54:31 PM in UTC -6 time
And who did it appear to be being sent from and to whom was it being sent to?
from Chad to Lori.
And could you read it into the record?
I love you, Elena. What a wonderful chemistry we share.
And then if you could read the next one, if you could indicate the date and time into the record.
August 10th, 2019, 4:55:17 PM in UTC -6 time
And if you could indicate who it was believed the message was being sent from and to whom it was being sent.
from Lori to Chad.
And could you read the content into the record?
I love you more. That's so hot. I just need you more than ever. Heart, heart.
And then the last line there, if you could indicate the date and time into the record.
August 10th, 2019 at 4:58:02 PM in UTC -6 time
And who did it appear to be going from and to whom was it being sent?
from Chad to Lori.
And could you read the content into the record?
You are amazing. Please save that segment. I want to read it with you naked, then relive it all.
And did those appear to be a text thread?
Yes,
And again, as part of your role in this, were you reading through the James and Elena to determine if it corresponded to real life events?
I did.
And did you in fact determine that there appeared to be some events in James and Elena that corresponded with what was going on with Chad and Lori?
Yes,
And again, in the James and Elena, when Chad and Lori would meet up, were there oftentimes descriptions of physical encounters as well?
yes.
I have just a moment. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Blake.
And I would just indicate Ms. Heideman still has those few pages. I don't know if council wants her to keep those.
I'll have the bailiff retrieve those, please, and return those to you. Those weren't exhibits, so I'll have them returned to you, Ms. Blake.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pryor, cross-examination once you're ready.
Start out early. How can I address you? May I also call you Miss Heideman?
Yeah.
Thank you. Miss Heideman, as part of the exhibit that the state described as the James and Elena story, were you able to determine whether there were chapter breaks in this story?
In the emails that were sent, it appeared there were chapter 1, chapter 2. I forgot how many chapters exactly there were, but in some of them, yes, and others, no.
Okay, so like if I'm referring to page 9, it says end of chapter 1, and then it starts as chapter 2.
Right.
So can we presume that this was another book that Chad was writing?
I don't know if he intended to publish it.
Okay,
Doesn't. Not
but
sure.
obviously referring to something as chapter 1 and then breaking it up and describing chapter 2 as the start of the next series, that would seem to suggest that at least there was an intent to put this in book form, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Is there any indication, any of the emails, that the intent of this was to write a book?
Not that I could tell, no.
Now, as far as the search for the word malachite, you mentioned that Chad looked at that in March of 2018, correct?
Correct.
He didn't know Lori Vallow at that point, correct?
Correct.
And then it was Lori Vallow who initially did the searching for the malachite, correct?
I would have to look back at the report to figure out which days.
And
Who
then
was
as far as
first?
the correspondence is concerned, Chad Daybell's one of those was his response to the Lori Vallow searching for malachite.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Lori Vallow searched at least did most of the Google searching for the malachite. Would you agree with that?
I don't know about counts.
Okay.
Who did the most searches? I don't know. I'd have to look at my report again.
You talked about the temple records and you provided a long list of temple records. There was a frequent visit by Chad Daybell to the temple, even when he wasn't visiting with Lori Vallow. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He was a regular attender of the temple.
That's correct.
Okay. Regardless of his infidelity or the affair that was going on, he was still attending the temple, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Did you come across any information that on one of the visits to the temple, when Lori and Chad were there, that other people had attended at the same time as Lori and Chad?
It's possible that other people were there. Yes.
People who they knew as part of a group. Did you see anything that suggested that?
I only had the records for Chad and Lori's cards.
You didn't happen to look at Melanie Gibb or anybody else at the same time who possibly could have been there?
I did not have their records. No.
Okay. Actually, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pryor.
Ms. Heideman, through your review of records, were both Chad and Lori looking for malachite?
They were.
Were those searches occurring when their spouses were still alive?
Yes.
Did Lori and Chad, in fact, end up married in Hawaii?
They did.
What type of rings did they exchange?
Malachite rings.
Were Melanie Gibbs' kids missing?
No.
I have no further questions.
All right. That will conclude the testimony then of this witness. Witness has been returned after previously testifying. Does the state have any intention of calling the witness at any other time going forward?
No, Your Honor, she may be released.
All right. From the defense, can she also be released? Is there a subpoena, Mr. Pryor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, that'll conclude your testimony. Thank you for appearing and testifying. You may go ahead and step down, and you're no longer subject to the court's exclusionary order.